Good morning. It's morning here in the jungle. Rita Lucas from Gringo to Tico, and today we're going to talk about mold because one of you have asked for this. So I decided to quickly do a recording this morning before I head out the door to do the things that take me away on a Friday. So mold. I'm first of all going to talk about mold in the house, inside your house, your clothes and things like that. And then I'm going to talk about mold outside your house because it happens. It just does, especially here where we live in the rainforest. So inside your house, I have had two houses now in Costa Rica, and my first house was what I would call a very moldy house. I was always in challenge with mold. And the thing about your house is it depends where it's at. That property is closer to the mountains, and so those clouds come down sooner in the day in the rainy season, and it gets more rain in that area. So that's why that house is what we say moldier than the house I'm in now, which is at a lower elevation, a little further from the mountains. And also when I built this house, because I knew there was mold issues, I made sure I have amazing airflow. I made sure that the breezes that come off the ocean and the breezes that come off the mountain go right through our house all day long. We get a couple of still times, like right now it's really still until about maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on the day. And then again at the witching hour at like 5 o'clock, it gets still. But other than that, we have good airflow in your house. That's the biggest thing for eliminating mold in your house. Keeping fans moving, keeping that air moving. You're still going to get some. In my previous house, the cabinetry, the wood wardrobes and the cupboards were getting mold quite bad. I think that had to do with the material that was used to build it, for building it. I'm not sure what that house was under contract through a developer. This house I built on my own. So I don't know what they use for wood. But there's a product that we can get here on the Costa Baena through Royal Palms Interiors. The name has escaped me, but it's for mold. And you use it and use it and use it and use it, and eventually it kills those little mold spores. The other thing that we do is to use a product called Nice, N-A-I-S, Nice. And it's kind of like Pledge. It puts a coating that stops the mold from being able to grow. That helps a lot. Regular cleaning, of course, with vinegar and sometimes even ammonia. But vinegar usually works, vinegar and whatever cleaning solution you normally use. That helps a lot if you do get mold in your house. Clothing, we don't recommend having black. Black molds faster than anything. I don't know why. I have a bunch of black shorts that I wear for work, and if I don't use them in a couple of weeks, I pull them out of my cupboard, out of the wardrobe, and they'll have mold spots on them. It wipes off, but that happens. So now you can buy these dehumidifiers for your cabinetry for inside. They're called Evadries. I buy them online at Amazon and ship them. And you can also buy it's not a light bar, but it's like a light bar, and it's a heat bar at different hardware stores that you can put inside your cupboards to keep things dry. So I've got one of those now in my wardrobe. I've never had to do it before, but this year has been a particularly rainy year. The most rain we've had since like 2001 or something. So I'm having a little, issues in this house that I haven't had before with mold, mostly with things inside. Foodstuffs, everything goes in the fridge, like your flour, your sugar, your salt, all your spices need to go in the fridge unless you've got a cupboard that has a fairly substantial dehumidifier system in it. I have my next door neighbor that she is at one of the bigger light bars. She picked up at APA in San Jose, and she said it works fine for her. I have a second fridge, a little what I call a Tico fridge, a smaller fridge in my dry room, and that's where I keep like all my gluten-free pastas that I need to eat and all my extra spices. And the spices I use every day are in my fridge in the kitchen. So those are the kinds of things. So we need bigger refrigeration spaces than what we would normally have. The other thing you heard me talk about, my dry room. My dry room is a secure room as well, and most people put one of those in their homes. And that's where you can put books, important papers, your luggage that you don't use very often, so it stays nice. I keep my winter North American clothes in there, the shoes that I wear when I go to North America. I actually have my deep freeze and my second fridge in there because they just run better with being in a dehumidified space. I don't have to clean my deep freeze quite so often, defrost it. Those kinds of things. So it's our secure, dry room space. It's got a steel door on it. It's got the 3-phase fabulous locks so that they're hard to get into and those kinds of things. So pretty well everybody puts one of those in their homes. So that's kind of the inside the house thing. The outside the house thing, your cement, your decks, your things like that, they'll get mold on them. That's just an is as well. This time of the year, I call it the moldy season. Going into November. November is like when mold really, really grows. outside because that's when the heat is coming back up. The sun is coming back to the south, leaving North America, coming south, closer to the equator, so our temperature starts to rise a little bit. We're to the end of all that time of the jungle getting really soggy and really wet, and so mold grows really well. So I call November spring cleaning because everything just outside needs to be pressure washed and repainted, touch up, all that kind of stuff happens at our house in November. I've discovered a product that we use on our driveway, and I get it at the hardware store. It's very inexpensive, and it's called Potasa, Potasa, and it's specifically for cement and driveways and things like that, cement areas, because you can buy a similar product that's designed to clean your drains. And it's Potasia, I think it's spelt a little bit different. But this one is for that. And where I get that really bright green mold that grows, that will get in. You sprinkle it on the wet cement, wet concrete, scrub it with a broom, and then pressure wash it off. And it kills the roots of that really bright green mold that comes, that's really hard to get rid of because it really embeds itself. Your pressure washer is your best friend. Get a really good pressure washer. And, right now we're pressure washing our driveway probably every month to 6 weeks. Our pool deck area, we've got about a 1,500 square foot deck around our pool. It's painted with a really good non-hongus, non-moldy paint, and it's not getting as moldy this year yet, so we're only pressure washing it when it gets dirty. We've got 2 dogs that track dirty feet everywhere, and Zappos, the big cane toads that poop on it, and things like that. So it's probably every couple of months, and that's pretty normal anyway because it just gets dirty. But we know that the mold will start to grow, especially in the shady areas, as we get into November. Shoes, leather stuff that you've brought from North America, they'll disintegrate. I don't know what it is about leather from North America. It just disintegrates. Leather from here, like the rocking chair I sit on for my office chair, leather that's been bought here or in other Latin American countries seems to last fabulous. I have a pair of sandals I bought in Venezuela, 10, 12 years ago. They're still amazing. Every once in a while get a little bit of mold on the outside and I just wipe them off. They're ready to go. But any leather I bought from North America, from Canada, just rotted. Shoes, the glue separates, and that happens all over Costa Rica. It doesn't matter if you're in the rainforest or even up in Guanacaste where it's really dry, much drier. The glue just separates. So what I do a lot of times is I just take them as soon as they're brand new. I've got a guy in the village that repairs them for me. It costs me like $4, $3.50, something like that, $2 mil. And he fixes them, he stitches them so they will last more than ever. They're better than ever, right? We don't pay a lot of money for shoes here. We like to have lots of shoes. All of us girls like our shoes. But we just have learned that it doesn't make any difference to buy expensive shoes. So we just know we're going to pay a little less. We buy them in Panama, $2 to $10, $12, whatever. And we're going to wear them for a season or 2 seasons, and they'll probably break somewhere or another, and we just go get a new pair. Because the good shoes, you spend a lot of money for them, they disintegrate just the same. I have a $100 pair of running shoes in my dry room, and the glue has just been separating, and I've been regluing and regluing and regluing, and finally it's like, you know what, I'm just tossing these. I'm going to go buy a less expensive pair and wear them. I usually only wear them when I go to North America or traveling or into San Jose anyway, so they're not something I wear frequently. So that's the best that I can tell you about mold. If you want to know more about mold and how to handle it, ping me at the bottom of this on the Gringo to Tico Facebook page, and I will answer your questions, or I'll do another video if there's a couple of questions that need to be answered. So that's this Friday morning in the jungle. It's fun to be talking to you guys again. Rita Lucas from Gringo to Tico.